Hello everyone and welcome to this May Mega Live Sale. Hi everyone. That was exuberant even for me. I mean, do I sometimes, like in the beginning of a stream, get quite hyped up? Yes, I do. Was this another level? Also, yes. Hi everyone. Welcome. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, good night, depending on where you're going to join us. Where you're going to join us from, where you've already joined us from. I'm Louisa, for those of you who do not know me. I have the great honor and privilege of being the live hostess for these events. I normally, for these big monthly events, have my darling colleague, Jaya, here with me. She, unfortunately, was unable to come today, so it's just me. Well, not quite just me, because, of course, Matthias is also here in the studio with me.
Hello.
There, you've briefly seen his little hand. So it's just me and Matt today. I hope you are not too disappointed. Jaya will be back at a future date. It just happened that today she was unavailable. But nonetheless, we've got a brilliant show planned for you. We've got 20 yarns in our selection, and I will tell you a little bit about all of them, show you some close-ups, show you some ideas on what you can make with them, and hopefully inspire you to pick up your needles or hooks and get crafting. We do offer all of these yarns at a live discount. You will receive a 40% discount on our selection if you use our discount code HAPPY40. It only applies to these 20 yarns, but I mean, it's 20 yarns, so that's quite a big, I would say quite a big selection. And it is valid 24 hours, so till tomorrow at 5 p.m. CET, tomorrow at the time that we've started this stream. If you place a big order and your order total surpasses $150 or equivalent in your currency, so 150 euros, then you can apply our code HAPPY50 and get 50% off. It is important to note that sadly the codes are not working currently if you're shopping from, well, so actually if it's 150 euros, the codes won't apply. There is a bug. We haven't quite figured it out. Many of you will know we are in the process of transitioning our website and building a better experience. However, as it happens, in the process of making things better, sometimes things don't go as planned. So I'm very sorry to all of you shopping, especially from Ireland today. Sadly, the code will not work today. We don't quite know what the problem is. We have escalated it, we have forwarded it, but yeah, sadly, it's not going to work today. But we're working on it, making sure that it's going to be a smooth ride in the future. So today, just letting you know that if you're shopping from Canada, if you're shopping from the US, if you're shopping from overseas, you should have no problem using code HAPPY40 for 40% or HAPPY50 for 50%. But if you're shopping from an EU country and a Euro country, then sadly the code is not going to work. Lexi is saying, does the discount work only on the live products on the basket or the whole basket as long as there are products from the live in it? It only applies to the live selection, so it only applies to the 20 products that we have in our selection today. It does not apply to any other product, so it's limited to those 20 yarns. However, to reach the $150 threshold, you can actually kind of pad it with other yarns, but then again, it will only take 50% off of the yarns in our selection. So let's say you pick yourself 2 Tea Time XL, and then you pick yourself a bunch of other yarns. The Tea Time XL will get the 50% off or 40% off, and the other yarns will not if they're not part of the yarns live selection. I hope that makes sense. If you have any questions, I have an eye on the chat, and Andrea is asking a very good question. Matt, what happened to quiz time last week?
Okay, so basically I got I was up the whole night beforehand because I had a runner's injury that I had to get fixed immediately so I could actually sleep the next day. And it just so happened that the only appointment I could get that day was mid in quiz time. So that was how it was. I'm sorry. I hope to bring it to you next time.
I didn't even know about it. I asked Matt, I was like, oh, so how did the quiz go last week? And he was like, what? We had to cancel, don't you know? And I was like, no, I didn't. I didn't know you'd been injured. But I'm glad to hear that you're feeling better. So the restriction in terms of just to make it very, very clear. If you're watching from a country that has its own live shopping, like Germany, then the code for Germany is going to work because we have the live shopping for it tomorrow. However, many other EU countries that shop from the international page are currently unable to use the code. This also exclusively applies to Euro countries as well as Norway and Poland. Basically, if you're shopping from Sweden and Denmark, you're fine. If you're shopping from Norway, I'm very sorry, the code doesn't work this week. It just has to do with everything getting migrated bit by bit. And so we're currently working on 2 different systems. Anything that's still on the old system, so Germany, Denmark, Sweden, and our international overseas shop work fine. Happy 40 and Happy 50 are good to go. If you're shopping from an European store that has already migrated to the new system, then sadly the code doesn't work. And yeah, we're trying to figure out why. We are working on a solution. However, that solution is going to not be fixed today. So I'm very sorry. That is sadly the situation. It is kind of a bit of a odd period of transition right now. We've just been, we're getting a lot of training and onboarding in new systems as well. And I'm kind of seeing like, okay, it's going to take a few weeks for everything to work super smoothly. By end of summer, we expect everything to be even better. Is there? Is there?
Yes.
Yeah? What is it, 125?
Yes.
Yes, if you're shopping from the UK, the threshold for Happy 50 UK is £125. And I think with that, let's get started with some yarn, because I know I know it's confusing, but at the end of the day, try if it works for you, and if it works, then it works, and if it doesn't, then it doesn't. I'm very sorry. So if you type our code Happy40 in the chat, by the way, you should get a link to our landing page. Of course, as I've said, if you're shopping from the Netherlands, France, Ireland, then you won't be able to use the codes this week, but you can still check out the selection and still see the patterns that I've selected to, like, maybe hopefully get inspired. And we're working on trying to figure out how to get the codes to work properly, but not today. Sadly, I'm very sorry about that. Yeah, hopefully there'll be a solution soon. It's definitely one of those things where in order for things to get a lot better, they are temporarily a little bit worse. But yeah, it's a learning curve for all of us. We're on it and we're hoping for it. Holly saying good morning from a somewhat sunny Wisconsin. Well, we've also got somewhat sunny Copenhagen here. It was raining randomly earlier, but it's also kind of sunny, so it's that time of year, honestly.
Yeah, it is.
Let's go with our first batch of yarns, because there's quite a few to get through. 20 yarns in total today, so I'm just gonna get going. And while there's so much more to say, Matt, I completely forgot. We do have some giveaways today. We've got a total of 5 giveaways. 5. Like May is the 5th month of the year. We've got 5 giveaways today. We've got 4 giveaways of a gift card worth 25 monies, so dollars or equivalent in your currency, which will go to 1 person randomly picked from everyone who clicked going on our Facebook event ahead of time. 2 times we'll find the winner randomly in the chat, and once we will find it from everyone who's given this this Facebook video a little like. So be sure to like this video for a chance to win. And then, because it's the big end of the month live special, we do have a little basket we would like to fill. And we will be filling it with some yarns from today's selection. And then at the end, we will find 1 lucky winner who will take home this amazing yarn basket prize. So stay tuned and help me fill the basket throughout the show so that we can get this bad boy to someone. Well, not the bad boy, but what is in it. So yes, 5 giveaways in total, 4 gift cards worth 25 monies, as well as a big yarn basket, which we will fill throughout the show with some goodies. And now let's get crack-a-lackin' with some yarns. While I talk to you about these yarns, I actually do have kind of a survey question for you. We're kind of working on just trying out some different stuff with the live streams, and I kind of want to get to know our live audience a little bit better. And so I actually want to know from you guys, of those of you who are currently watching, there should be a poll popping up. And I would just want to know, are you more of a knitter, more of a crocheter? Do you do both or do you do neither? Because there may be someone who's just stumbled upon this stream and has no idea what's going on and is just along for the ride. Or maybe you're a total beginner and you actually don't quite know yet. Maybe this is your first time interacting with the crafting community and looking for inspiration. So let me know just to give us a little bit of an idea. And Martha is asking, what do I do to take part in the giveaway? Giveaway 1 already closed because you would have had to click going on the Facebook event ahead of time to be in that pot. Giveaway 2, just give us a little like and maybe you'll be the lucky winner that gets picked randomly. Giveaways 2, 3 and 4, I will make it very clear when it is time to be active in the chat so that we can have pick you as a winner. And giveaway number 5, the big yarn basket, I will have a little question for you at the end that I want you to answer, and when you do, then you can win. I can see a lot of people saying both, which, I mean, now that I have also started knitting, I can also call myself a little bit of both. But it's really nice to see. I would love to see, what you are up to and what your preferred craft is. I can tell what some of your preferred yarns are because this first batch of yarns are some of the favorites that I have encountered or that we've seen from all of you. And so what we have for you today is we have our lovely Tea Time. We've also got Tea Time XL because Tea Time XL was a lot of colors were out of stock for a long time, but they've been restocked. I'm going to get into details on both of these yarns in just a second, but yeah, we've got Tea Time and Tea Time XL. We've also got our beautiful, beautiful Wheel of Alpaca. We've also got our beautiful, beautiful Winter Glow and Winter Glow Solid. So you can see that some of these, like, they have been paired together for the sake of kind of showing you all these lovely, lovely yarns. I'm going to start with Tea Time and Tea Time XL, especially because I know that there's quite a lot of questions about it as well, because they're both essentially worsted weight cakes, and so the question is quite often, but how come and what's the difference? So I'm going to show you the two yarns side by side a little bit. So what we've got here is we've got Tea Time in color 14, which is these beautiful shades of kind of dark blue and teal with a few pops of red and this mustardy yellow color and some berry tones in between. And then what I've got here is Tea Time XL in color number 3, and it's these beautiful kind of autumnal colors with like very bright pops of yellow and pink in between. And as you can see when I hold them next to each other, Tea Time XL is noticeably a tiny bit thicker. So both are worsted weight yarns. And essentially they fall on the opposite end of the spectrum of what a worsted weight yarn would be considered to be in terms of usage and gauge swatch and hook or needle size. So Tea Time has a recommended hook or needle size of a 4.5mm to 5.5mm, and Tea Time XL has a 5.5 to 6.5 recommendation. So it's approximately one needle size or one hook size up. In terms of like wraps per inches, I think they're 2 apart. So it's essentially, this is a thinner end of the worsted weight spectrum and this is the thicker end. And so they are actually really, really close together. You will see a noticeable difference when using them together at the same time, just because, yeah, one of them is a little bit thicker. So if you combine them, you could actually play with that even to try and get those kind of vibes of slightly more rustic looking, sort of some bits are thicker, some bits are thinner, so you could definitely also lean into that. However, if your preferred color is sold out in Tea Time and your entire project is Tea Time, I wouldn't necessarily swap it in for Tea Time XL, just because, yeah, you are going to see a difference. The yarns otherwise are made from the same material. They're both made from a super, super soft acrylic. These are 100% acrylic cakes. And as you can see, the thread is twisted with like multicolored strands. So you get kind of gentle stripes with very short bursts of color from this yarn. And the colors kind of blend into each other very, very gently and give you a really lovely kind of interplay of the different colors. I have some more colors here. This is Tea Time XL again in color 11. So more on the colder toned bluey greeny side. And yeah, you get these very, very lovely, very soft color changes. As you can see, pretty much no part of the yarn or no part of the thread is ever just one color. It is always sort of modeled together. It's always multicolored, and gives you, yeah, very beautiful, very gentle little stripes and color changes. Tea time, so normal tea time is 634 yards on one cake, and tea time XL, being a little chunkier, is a little bit shorter. So a tea time XL runs for 437 yards on one cake. So it's a bit bigger. They're both the same weight. So this one is a bit thicker. Therefore, it's a little bit less yardage. So we do have some swatches on the page, which I think is always helpful with a yarn like this. So Matt is pulling some of them up. So here you can see color 1. And the colors of tea time and tea time XL are made to be as close to the same as they can be. I mean, bear in mind, of course, with a color changing yarn like this, you're never going to get two that are completely the same. But you can just see from what the skein looks like to what the swatch looks like, you get these really cool gentle stripes made of a super, super soft acrylic that is very, very fun to work with and has a slightly rustic structure. Because as you can see here, it is kind of gently twisted, which means that on some places you'll get thicker bits and thinner bits. And I know that kind of, bearing in mind that the yarns are so close together in thickness anyway, that does mean that on some parts of the regular tea time you are going to get bits that are approximately the same kind of thickness and feel as some parts of the tea time XL. It's just that on average the tea time XL will be a little bit thicker, and then again, yeah, so you get these really nice gentle changes, and you get these nice variations in thickness, which, despite being a made from an artificial fiber, gives this a very sort of handmade and rustic feel. We do have a lot of beautiful, beautiful examples of what this yarn looks like when used by you guys, and you can check those out in the user gallery as well. For instance, Christy has made a super, super lovely sweater. It's the Nova sweater, which looks super cute, and I love the kind of neutral colors that she chose. You can see sweaters, accessories. Ooh, maybe show this one. Lynette has made a really, really cute shawl, which looks super nice as well. It reminds me a little bit of the Cosmos blouse that we talked about last week. Lynette, this is a very, very lovely project. You can see accessories, hats, scarves, ponchos. Erica saying she has a picture of a hooded scarf. Could that be the hooded scarf that you just scrolled past, Matt? I think it might be. Here's Erica's beautiful creation of a shawl with a super lovely little hood. I think it looks very cool. It looks very, like, I mean, I would wear this 100%, but it's also, when I was a kid, I mean, I've talked about that I'm quite nerdy anyway, but I would have cried if I'd had that as a kid.
You could walk some water in that.
I used to just, whenever I played, I used to just always wrap myself and like wear like anything I could turn into a hood, I would turn into a hood. And then I'd be walking around pretending to be some like badass like elf or ranger or something. You know. Anyway, fun stories of Louisa's childhood. Both happy 40, both Tea Time and Tea Time XL are machine washable, but we do recommend that you use the hand wash cycle if your machine has one. Otherwise, I would recommend hand washing at low to medium temperature. Both come in beautiful colors. Matt is going to pull up the color palette to show it to you. I love that a lot of you are giving Erica a lot of love in the chat for her beautiful shawl. I agree, it is super, super gorgeous, and the colors also look really, really nice. So what was I gonna say? Yes, both of these are washable in the hand wash cycle or just by hand at low to medium temperature. Lisa is saying that the messenger link does not seem to be working. That is good to know. I will double check that after the show, but Matt is going to post it in the chat as well. He has already posted it and pinned it, but just to be sure, we'll do it again. Otherwise, if you have previously participated on a live shopping, the link actually stays the same every week, so you can also just use an older link to get to the landing page. Charlene is saying, I just joined. Is that tea time? Well, actually, this is Tea Time XL. But yes, we do also have tea time in this election today. We've got both. They're both super soft, so great for any of you who are worried about sort of maybe irritation on the skin. Highly, highly recommend as a great alternative yarn as well for anyone who is sensitive to wool. Matt is putting the link in our video description as well as we speak, so he can, so you can also find the link there from now on. Thanks, Matt. You're like, Matt is so quick with like all the tippy typing. And it's also going to be in the chat one more time for those of you who aren't getting the... Cheryl is saying it hasn't worked for about 6 weeks.
It's the same issue as we've had like with the privacy settings and whatever else.
Yeah.
I believe, right?
Okay. No, but it's people saying that the links don't work. So they're getting the links, but then the links don't work. Which that's a new issue. Huh. If you are shopping from Ireland, the Netherlands, France, any EU country that uses the euro other than Germany and Austria, or Norway or Finland. Well, Finland uses the euro, so again, Finland was already included. In that case, it could just be because you're already on the new system. And then the links won't work because you're trying to go to a website that no longer exists for your country. I mean, the links should still work. The links should still work. It's just you won't be able to shop from that link.
Yeah.
I will double check. I will double check. I will look into it. And then the messenger code is not working for me either.
I will say they are being sent. So.
Okay, so the codes are being sent out. Yeah, but the problem is if the links don't work. That's the thing. Like, because that's what people said. People said the links don't work.
But I think they mean that they are not getting them sent in their messenger box.
Okay.
Because I think the link would work if they had it sent, but I think it isn't sending it to them.
Okay.
That's
then
like,
I misunderstood
I'm pretty sure about that.
Because it says like, how do I get to the landing page? And it's like, yeah, you use the link.
Yeah.
But Matt has put it in the video description, so you can find it in the video description on Facebook.
But you could also, I mean, find these yarns, the selection tonight, and then just use the code at checkout. You don't have to use the landing page.
Yeah.
I can show it here again if you want.
Yeah, I know, because I know we've had problems with people not getting the links, and that's been an ongoing issue that Matt is planning to fight Mark Zuckerberg over at some point.
Not at some point. It's still happening, Louisa.
Okay. But if the links themselves don't work, then we're trying to figure out.
Could you be any more scared with that laugh? Don't be afraid. I'll make sure that we come out on top. Okay, it's okay. Yeah. And also the pinned comment also has the link, of course. But guys, we have.
Cecilia's asking, why is there no mass discount on Friends Cotton 8.4? Because the live discount is higher than the highest possible bulk discount, and therefore that will apply instead. So
we have a poll that was finished.
Yes, Matt has calculated the poll, and it has turned out that about 60% of you crochet or do both, and only 9% are sort of strictly knitters. So that's good to know. So yeah, I mean, I think that tracks with what I've kind of experienced from sort of feedback I've gotten. Yeah. But don't you worry if you are a knitter. I have selected a lot of really, really nice knitting patterns for you as well to show you. So we've got Tea Time and Tea Time XL. Both of those are part of our selection. So you get 40% discount if you use code HAPPY40 and a 50% discount if you use code HAPPY50, and your order total surpasses $150 or equivalent in your currency. Those were the first two yarns that I wanted to show you. I do have some more. Like I said, I've also got Wheel of Alpaca for you today. Wheel of Alpaca is a 80% acrylic, 20% alpaca blend. So we're still sticking to the very, very soft on the skin, very low irritation. And it is a beautiful cake. And this one has the kind of where tea time, the colors are a bit all, like not all over the place. I mean, you still get a set amount of colors within a skein. But here the changes are kind of a bit more all over and different colors at any time. with Wheel of Alpaca, you get one gradient. You start with a solid on the outside, you end with a solid on the inside, and in between you can see tiny changes where one part of the yarn changes at a time, and so the gradient kind of runs through, and it accidentally perfectly matches my nails. You run through the gradient and then end up with a solid color in the middle, and you get these very, very soft changes. This is all 1,027 yards of yarn, so over the course of 1,027 yards, you get a very, very gradual color change gradient with this. Very, very nice yarn for shawls or for cozy scarves, jackets, also great for things like blankets, great for anything that you would want to keep you really cozy, keep you really cuddled in. Matt is pulling up some of the pictures from the...
from you guys?
Yeah. Dagmar is saying there's always a yarn that will match my nails. That is true, but this one I grabbed it by accident and then just kind of thought, oh well, this is kind of perfect. So Matt has pulled up some ideas on what you can make with this. Maybe we can pull this up real quick. And you know that one thing I'm a huge fan of is whenever a color changing yarn like this gets used in combination with a solid color to kind of create not just a mosaic, but a mosaic with a gradient, because I just think that that is so cool. And bear in mind that, I mean, the mosaic, you're still going to have heaps of color changes, but at the same time, for the gradient, you don't have to. So you don't have to weave in that many ends across the whole thing. So this is all the colors that we have for Wheel of Alpaca, which, like I said, is an 80 to 20, 80% acrylic, 20% alpaca blend. The recommended hook or needle size is a 3.5 millimeter to 4.5 millimeter, and this is a light worsted or DK yarn, so it's just one weight lower than tea time, for instance, so it's a little bit thinner than tea time. And I know it looks super chunky and voluminous here, but the thread actually kind of is just very airy, and so as you work it up, it goes down a little bit. And yeah, here you can again see the color change really nicely, because you just see how there's a little bit more, and then you've got a solid color again. And so yeah, this is Wheel of Alpaca, which we do recommend that you hand wash it at 30 degrees Celsius, or like a low to medium temperature. 30 degrees kind of means you can stick your hand in there quite comfortably, and it's nice on the skin. So, I mean, 30, or is that already kind of cold?
Yeah, I mean, I would shower in 30 degrees.
I honestly probably wouldn't, because I shower kind of, I want to feel like I'm already like...
You're in lava.
In lava, yeah. But roughly that. Thereabouts. So this is Wheel of Alpaca, which is, again, part of our selection today. So 40% off with code HAPPY40 or 50% off with code HAPPY50 if your order total surpasses $150 or equivalent.
Quick question. We have some people asking, when do we put something in the basket?
At the end of the section.
At the end of the sections,
yes.
Guys.
So we've got 2 more yarns to talk about before I add anything to the basket. The next 2, they are obviously grouped together because they go together kind of like birds of a feather. We've got not just Winter Glow, but also Winter Glow Solid in the selection today. Winter Glow and Winter Glow Solid are these gorgeous wool acrylic blends. You've got 51% wool, 49% acrylic, and the resulting yarn is not just super, super soft and cozy. It's nice and warm. It's got a really nice kind of light feel to it, and it's just super fun to work with. Has a little bit of a rustic structure, so similar to tea time as well. Winter Glow is twisted relatively loosely, and so therefore you can see you get parts that are a little bit thicker than others, again adding to that slightly more natural rustic feel of the material. On a Winter Glow, you get 766 yards. These are 7.1 ounces on one of the cakes, and on a Winter Glow Solid, you get roughly half that. To be specific, you get 382 yards, so half that. So you've got 200 grams, 100 grams, right? Can you check the Winter Glow? Yes, I was right.
We just have had people saying in chat that they're also lava girls themselves.
Yeah. I think, but I think scientifically speaking, that is because women run colder. So women's like core temperature runs lower, and therefore women are more likely to enjoy hotter temperatures. So that's also why women are often cold in an office space, because the average thermostat temperature is set for the ideal temperature for a man, which is too cold for a woman.
Is that also why I feel like I'm burning up in here?
I mean, that's just because this is a very small studio and we have very bright lights.
Yeah.
I am getting very hot as well. This is color 17. I saw someone saying green, my favorite color. Mine too. What a coincidence.
What's the weight?
Look at this. It is a light worsted or DK weight yarn. So one thinner than the worsted weight yarn that we had with the tea time. So it's the same as Wheel of Alpaca, actually. The recommended hooker needle size is a 4.5mm to 5.5mm. So again, it's in that very nice medium bracket that I really, really love for my projects, just because I think it works up relatively quickly, but still has a relatively like fine structure and doesn't look too bulky, unless you're into that, of course. Erica saying, I fell in love with Winter Glow during the Be Your Own Star Cal. I know a lot of people did, and it's a really, really lovely project that combined the yarns as well. Matt is showing you the full color palette that we have available for them to give you an overview. I love so many people now sort of discussing like which temperatures they like their baths or showers at. Like it also changes seasonally. Like, I'll be very honest, in the middle of summer, if we're in the middle of a heat wave, I am going to be showering cold, because I'm already, yeah. But like it's really, really funny. I love it. But I see a lot of people really, really love Winter Glow. So I'm glad that I got to put it in the selection for you today. We do have some lovely patterns for it. And this first one I wanted to show you is the candy sweater. This one is made, at least the picture, the one on the picture is made in Winter Glow Solid. But of course, with this kind of color blocky design, you could very easily also vary between, switch between Winter Glow and Winter Glow Solid. So you could also make parts of the body, or like make one side of the body in Winter Glow, maybe one of the sleeves, and then do the rest in Solid. It's a really, really cool project that allows you to really play and lean into color. It's called the Candy Sweater. The pattern is for sizes extra small to 2XL, and it's an intermediate level crochet sweater. I think it is a really, really cool project, and I like the idea of kind of playing with color on something like that. I know that the example picture I just showed you is very much in the neutrals, but of course everyone's imagination can be at play there. And if you want to make a pair of pants to go with that, I also picked this really cool pattern to show you. This is the Margarete pants pattern. It is a pattern that's available in sizes small to extra large for a cool pair of crocheted pants. So you've got the crochet, like these really cool pants with this cool kind of whole design going down the side. So you've got the Margarete pants. Both of these patterns are available for free on our website. And if you are not an adult yet, or if you're making something for a smaller person, we do have this absolutely adorable pattern for a children's dress. This is the Tiggy dress, and I think it is so, 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 so cute. It is, I would say, giving me a little bit more autumnal vibes, but first of all, you could of course kind of adjust the colors of it and adjust the motif on it, and I just think it looks so cute. The Tiggy children's dress pattern actually combines Winter Glow Solid with our soft alpaca, which we also have in the selection later in the show. So we've also got that coming up later. So those were some ideas on what you could make with our Winter Glow and Winter Glow Solid. It is an extremely versatile yarn. You could use this for blankets, you could use this for shawls, for any type of clothing. It just really lends itself to anything that's kind of really got a cozy vibe to it. Both of them are 40% off with our code HAPPY40, or 50% if your order total surpasses $150, and then you can shop with code HAPPY50 or HAPPY50 UK, starting at £125 if you're shopping from the UK. These are Winter Glow and Winter Glow Solid, the last two yarns in this first little bracket of super cozy, crafty yarns. And I kind of know that we're not really in this, like, that we're kind of approaching summer. I have a question, actually. I have a poll about that coming up later. But I figured it'd be nice to have some of these favorites, and especially with the Tea Time XL, because it's just gotten back in stock in so many colors. So I thought it'd be nice. So with that, we have reached the end of our first section, which means it is now time to add something to our gift basket. You can win this basket at the end of the show. We'll have a little guessing game question that we want you to answer, and then whoever answers correctly gets a chance, whoever guesses the best gets a chance to win this beautiful basket. Not the basket itself, just the contents of it, but you know what I mean. Let's fill the basket. And so I think what I would like for you guys to do on the chat is to tell me, I'm gonna put in, I would say, a cake. And so the question is, would you rather I put in cakes. Yeah, I only have cakes, I know, but I think I'm really liking the idea of like the color changing. So would you rather a wheel of alpaca or a tea time? So let me know, would you rather I put in a tea time or I put in a wheel of alpaca? And then we will and then also put your preferred color. So maybe not the number, but give me like a light or dark or green or blue. So wheel of alpaca or tea time. One of them goes in the basket. You let me know which one in the chat. Go. And while we do that, I will reveal our first giveaway winner of the night. You will receive a gift card worth $25. Congratulations to Kimberly Clohecki. Kimberly Clohecki. Clohecy. That is how the last name is spelled. Kimberly, congratulations. You are the first winner of the night. You will receive a gift card worth $25 or equivalent in your currency. Kimberly Clohecki or Clohecki. I'm gonna just assume it might be Clohecki and just stick to that. But please, Kimberly, do send us an email to live@hobie.com. The email address Matt just put up here. Oh, he put it up again. live@hobie.com. Kimberly, please email us and you will receive a gift card worth $25. I don't know why it popped into my brain to say $25,000. Worth $25.
We are gracious here.
Yes. Yeah. So let's keep an eye on what the chat is saying about which yarn they would like put in the basket while I kind of tidy up here and put some of them
I'm seeing
away.
wheel of alpaca mostly.
We're seeing mostly wheel of alpaca.
I've seen green and blue most. I think green actually is the one. I also see some people saying any color.
Well, yes, any color is nice, but blue, okay.
It's between blue and green.
It's between blue and green. Okay, yeah. Then we do this.
Okay.
Super scientific method.
I can't see anything.
Close your eyes.
Yeah, I've closed my eyes.
I'm just realizing there's no mirror behind me. Is there? No, the mirror's behind you.
Am I supposed to point at it, or?
Oh yeah, we can do that. You close your eyes. I'm putting them out straight in front of me, and you tap it with your hand. You need to come at least one step forward.
Okay. Okay, this one.
This one. It's the blue one.
Did you trick me to pick the blue one?
No, I did not. Oh. I was just trying to hold them so they were in frame so that they could see what you would pick, and then the blue one got picked.
Okay.
So in the basket goes a blue wheel of alpaca. That is our first yarn in our little gift basket that you can win at the end of this show. So stay tuned.
Along with $25,000. No. We are kidding.
People are very much laughing about the $25,000. I don't know where that came from. I mean, I didn't say it. I just suddenly my brain went $25,000, and I'm like, I wish I could do those kinds of giveaways. Like, that'd be so cool, because that's almost like life-changing money. Like,
I mean, I would probably just take off like an entire year. See you later, guys. Bye bye.
You would buy so much running gear. Matt would run his next marathon in gold shoes. Well, no, actually, I think those would be really uncomfortable and impractical.
Would like to say I have not run a marathon yet, just so you know.
Half marathon.
Half marathon.
Well, you've run multiple half marathons, so
that
if
is
you
true.
stack them up,
That is true. Yeah.
that's essentially.
Essentially, almost there.
Alrighty, we do have some more yarns coming up, and this next section is kind of the new yarns, so the new kids on the block. I mean, we've had these on live shopping a few times before, but I figured with many of you joining only occasionally, it's always nice to have a few of them on a few more times. So, first up, we've got Dancing Queen. Dancing Queen is this phenomenal. Matt just started doing a little ABBA dance in the background. You couldn't see that, but I did, and it was very distracting. Dancing Queen is this beautiful, beautiful, super shimmery yarn. It is made from 100% polyester, and it is actually a kind of textile yarn. I'm going to try and see if I can find an end. Yes, there we are. So I can show you. So this is actually when you get the thread out, this is what it looks like. And it's actually, as you will see, this textile material that's just rolled up. So almost kind of like a t-shirt yarn. It is slightly stretchy and has a kind of obviously super shimmery surface that is kind of leathery or kind of like vinyl at the top, and of course shimmers absolutely beautifully. This is kind of a bulky weight yarn, so the recommended hook or needle size is sort of 7mm to 9mm. When working this up, one thing I can say from the last time that we were working this up, I used a wooden crochet hook. Would not recommend. One, just not very comfortable. You want something that really glides, so I would say a metal hook is probably best for this. And secondly, it also then kind of makes a not so nice sound. If you work with a metal hook, you're not going to have that. But if you work with wood or anything that can kind of catch on this material, it's not the greatest. It is a really cool kind of effect yarn, and it is essentially made for cool accessories for the most part. However, I do have a little poll, because I actually wanted to see what you guys would make out of it. I've only given you some options, but still, like, when you see this yarn, what does that make you think of? Are you thinking more bags, clothing, a hat, or other kind of headwear, or something completely else? What is this? What you would what do you think of when you see this? Ellie is asking, so how squeaky is it on your hook? So like I said, on the wooden hook, very squeaky. On a metal hook, not that squeaky. On a plastic hook, probably somewhere in between. So I would probably recommend, if you know that you kind of don't love the sensory input of kind of squeaky materials, which I am also not the biggest fan of myself, definitely work it up with something that's very, very smooth. I can kind of, like, I don't know how much of this you can hear in front of the mic, but if I kind of
try to rub it against itself.
Yeah, that's a good, like, to kind of give you an idea of, like, the sound of it. Like, it's not overly loud, but when I worked it up with a wooden hook, I could definitely tell it was making a sound. Like, it's not a quiet yarn. Carrie saying shiny tops from the 90s. That was also one of my first thoughts. I think I, like, for a brief while had kind of a gymnastics like leotard in a really similar like in pretty much this exact material, also with the shine on it. So I think it's really cool. It is kind of a little bit kind of leathery, thick. So when making something like a garment with it, I think that would be the biggest challenge, is, like, as you can see, it kind of, like, yeah, rubs on itself, sticks to itself a little bit more, and I think you just get a slightly bulkier structure to your stitches as well. I've asked around the colleagues that had worked for, like, bigger projects with it. It does take a little bit of time to just get used to how it handles, just because it is a lot more stiff than a lot of other textile yarns, and so you kind of end up kind of having to, like, work a little bit more kind of I don't know, it felt a little bit harder to work it up than other yarns. So that's just a little tip, or like just good to know from my end. I can see 73% of you said bag in response to the poll, which makes perfect sense. That is kind of also, I think, what this yarn was intended for. We do actually have a pattern for a bag that we have available on the website for free. It's the Sylvia bag pattern, and it uses 2 skeins of our Dancing Queen. So you can see the bag there. It's a kind of small, fun going out purse. So this is definitely, I think, an effect yarn that is amazing for all of you who love an eclectic accessory, for all of you who love kind of leaning into the like funky colors and the kind of very, very shiny aspect of the yarn as well. The Sylvia bag pattern, you need 2 skeins to make that bag, and you can find it linked on our website if you just go to the Dancing Queen webpage, or you can also find it on our landing page if you do get the links, which I know a few of you don't. Liv is asking, why did I not get the poll? I think for some of you the polls pop up delayed for some reason. So if you had a different opinion, if maybe you would have skewed the results, but yeah, I don't know. That's a Facebook thing.
Again, let me reiterate.
Parker is saying, I love the braided belt idea. I do too. I didn't see the original comment, but whoever said braided belt, that is a really, really cool idea as well. Also something that reminds me of my youth when braided belts were all the rage. And then people are suggesting that we crochet some running pants for Matt out of this.
I would probably like damage my skin beyond
repair. It would
repair.
probably chafe, yeah. It would probably, I'll be honest, if you make something out of this that like in kind of, especially running where you definitely have a lot of friction, that will probably chafe. Judy is saying it would make a good Easter basket. Absolutely agree, or any other kind of basket that you might want to give away a little gift. Gift in it, so I think that could definitely work. And Melissa saying the crochet or knit poll just popped up for her. But we've seen this in the past, I think, whenever we've done these polls, that some of you for some reason see them delayed. You can still vote on it, I guess. Maybe we'll see at the end if the results have changed dramatically throughout the course of this. Maybe the more Facebook patterns I show, the more people, the more knitting patterns I show, the more people skew towards, no, I'm actually a knitter, I've decided.
We also, of course, are live on YouTube, so hello, YouTube.
Hi, everyone on YouTube. I love that I turned to this screen and not to the camera, just because that's where Matt pulled up YouTube. Yes, we are live on YouTube. For those of you who are watching on YouTube, you will be able to participate on the giveaways that we do on the chat, not the ones that we do from likes and from the signups. And you on Instagram, sadly, won't be able to participate on any of the giveaways because Instagram won't let us read the chat in order to like have you participate. I'm very sorry about that.
But you can join YouTube or
But
Facebook.
you can join us on YouTube or Facebook, of course, if you would like. Melissa saying, ooh, macrame with it. I don't know how well this would fare as a macrame yarn in terms of just its, I mean, I guess you probably could make some kind of macrame with this. Be a really cool like plant hanger or something in my apartment.
From one newish yarn to another newish yarn.
Well, I mean, these are all the new yarns. They're grouped together on purpose.
Yeah. How long have we had Rococo for?
Like 2 months,
2
maybe?
months. Yeah.
I don't know. Or like beginning of this year. So this was Dancing Queen, which is 40% off with our code Happy 40. You get 60 yards on one of these. So for a bag, like a small purse, you are going to want to at least take 2 of them. Comes in a fabulous array of colors. I think Matt already showed all of them. And then it is really, really fun and funky. And it's for all of those out there who love playing with sort of, also with color, but also with kind of different materials, because this is quite an unusual kind of material for a yarn, or a kind of more out there concept. I just quickly want to give a shout out to Eileen and Daniel, our design team, for this fabulous label that just makes me want to dance the night away. So this was Dancing Queen, our newish addition to the Hobby family. Since when is Dancing Queen limited, asks Liv. It actually has been from the beginning, because it was launched as a limited edition yarn, just because it is a bit out there and a bit different, to see how well it performs. these things can change. They don't always change. It really depends, I think, on a lot of different factors, also in terms of the production of the yarn, etc. But yes, it is technically a limited edition yarn, or, I mean, not technically, it is a limited edition yarn. I don't know if there's plans to unlimit it at some point. I think that comes with a few things attached, like how well it performs, how easy it is to get, etc. I love that. I still love seeing sort of what people are suggesting one could make with Dancing Queen, because I think there are a lot of really cool ideas that also maybe I haven't even thought about. Some people, like, I love that Winnie is suggesting making some clothes for little like plushies. So I think there is a lot of stuff out there that hadn't even occurred to me. I think I mostly thought of it as like a bag yarn, but then I also thought, like, yeah, like a little bit of headwear could look really cool, a little crown, something like that. I did actually see, not from us, but online when I looked up similar yarns, I found a really cool kind of top, like a mesh top, well, not mesh, like a netted top, and I thought that looked kind of cool because it had kind of almost armor vibes, and I was like, oh, that could be really cool. Also, we don't really have Renaissance fairs in Europe, but I was kind of thinking that would be a cool, like, Ren Fair thing to wear. So yeah, but yeah, we do have another new-ish addition to the Hobbii family, and this one is more, I think, a bit of a summer yarn that comes in gorgeous colors and in two different versions, and that is our Rococo linen yarn. We've got Rococo linen multi and Rococo linen no multi, just Rococo linen. These are super lovely cotton viscose blends with linen. So 3 very, very nice materials and come in these really, really cool, very bright colors. I'm going to show you the multi first. The multi has these lovely little kind of stripes, color stripes that you can see here. And as you can see, when hopefully the camera light catches it just right, some parts are a little bulkier than others. So essentially you have one thread that is kind of just in the middle, and then you have the viscose linen blend kind of wrapped around it. So you've essentially got the kind of bouncy, kind of thicker cotton in the middle, and then you've got the other two kind of twisted around it. And the viscose shines really nicely in the light, so it gives it a little bit of shine that is sometimes stronger, sometimes weaker, depending on where on the thread you are. Again, a little bit more of a rustic texture. I actually do have a little swatch here which can also show you how it looks when worked up. So this is another one that is great for all of you who love kind of playing with texture and who love playing with varying thickness. If you're someone who's really, really into a really, really even stitch structure and really prefers everything to look very even, this yarn is honestly not for you. Like, I don't want you to get it and then be really disappointed. This is definitely for those of you who embrace kind of the like natural imperfections that in this case built into the yarn. You get 36% viscose, 34% cotton, 30% linen. Viscose is a artificial fiber that is made from natural cellulose. So it's essentially wood fiber that gets broken down to the cellulose level, and then artificial fibers are made from it, which means that while it is man-made, it still retains a lot of the kind of natural properties of its source material. It is also, I guess, in terms of resources, more sustainable than something based on petroleum. It is a really, really lovely material that drapes very nicely when worked up for clothing. Then, of course, you've got cotton, which is just a fantastic material all around. Breathable, super versatile, very durable. And then we've got linen, which I love for summer especially. Linen softens over time. It does, when you kind of touch it like this, stick out a little bit just for having a slightly rougher surface. However, the very bouncy cotton balances that out beautifully, and then do bear in mind that over time linen will kind of wear down into a more softer material anyway. So a really, really cool blend. And then I just love how the colors kind of pop. Again, you can kind of, again, see here you have that little bit of shine where you have the viscose kind of popping out a little bit stronger, and then you've got the more chunkier bits where the cotton and the softness of that really come through. This is Rococo Linen Multi, so the multicolored version, and we do have it in a single colored version as well, with a really beautiful color palette that kind of reminds me also a little bit, it's also kind of an artsy palette. It's a little bit of sort of impressionist watercolors, which is not Rococo. I get that, but like just that's what those colors kind of make me think of a little bit more. Like I kind of feel like I'm standing in the middle of like an art exhibition with these colors.
So happy 40 on this, and happy 40th to Izzy.
Izzy, happy 40th to you. Oh yeah, Matt just highlighted the comment because apparently today is dear Izzy's 40th birthday. Happy birthday, congratulations. I hope you have a lovely day planned, or you've already had a lovely day. Both Rococo Linen and Linen Multi are fingering or sock weight yarns. You get 297 yards per skein on either of these, and they work up with a 3 to 4 millimeter hook or needle. We do recommend that you hand wash these to preserve their structure and color as best as possible, and then dry it flat, because both the linen and the cotton, and I think the viscose as well, all kind of like to stretch out a little bit when wet, and so you don't want to like break them, I was gonna say. Kathy is asking which yarn I would recommend to combine them with. That is a really good question. So of course, Rococo and Rococo Linen go together beautifully. I think...
Oh, you mean the multi, right?
Rococo Linen Multi and Rococo Linen,
yeah.
of course, go together beautifully because they're made from the same material. They are not 1000% color matched, so as you can see here, you would think that maybe these two are the exact same color. They're not, however, they look really cool together, I think. So think of these, the solid colors, more as an addition to the multicolored, rather than thinking of them as like perfect partners. But really, really lovely blend nonetheless, because I think just the way the colors are kind of designed, they still fall kind of within the same vibe, if that makes sense. But of course, you can also check if you want to combine them with other yarns. Bear in mind that, of course, the structure of this yarn with the variations in thickness is quite unique. So if you were to mix this with another fingering or sock weight yarn, we have, for instance, our Friends Cotton coming up later today in the live shopping. If you want to combine those with each other, you will just notice that this one is, of course, a lot more even and a lot stiffer in the way it is spun, whereas this is a lot looser and bouncier. And so you will get that difference in the firmness of your stitches, in the structure of your stitches. So you will see kind of a difference. That's not a bad thing. I actually really like when projects kind of combine textures and different types of firmnesses and different materials, interestingly. But just, yeah, keep that in mind when working it up. I saw KA saying that she's made a shawl out of it and it drapes very, very beautifully. I 100% believe that. Matt actually has pulled up a picture from the user gallery where Grace made this beautiful spring sweater, and I would say that Grace probably used color number 2, so you can again see kind of that was the sweater and this is the yarn that it is made from. So you get the very nice, and then Sam has actually also used this same color to make this really, really lovely summer t-shirt, which used 2.5 skeins. So this is the 2 beautiful projects that we've got by Sam, and the back looks super cool. I love that it's so like airy and fun and just perfect for summer. I wish I was wearing it right now because I am honestly in the studio getting really, really hot. I think I'm going to take off the scarf because it's a lot. Matt has also pulled up this project by Paige as a beautiful example, made from Rococo Linen, so not the multi version, the solid colored version. This is another beautiful, beautiful example of how the yarn looks, and it looks super lovely. 5 cakes for a breezy extra large cardigan, and Paige says she is in love with the color. I do believe that, and it looks super, super cool. So both Rococo Linen and Rococo Linen Multi are part of our live shopping selection, which means that you do get 40% off with our code HAPPY40 or 50% off with our code HAPPY50 if your order total goes over $150 or £125. Ivana's saying only 2.5. That's what Paige said in the Sam said in the description. So I believe what they say in the description. So Paige said 5 cakes for the XL cardigan, and then Sam did say 2.5 skeins for the t-shirt. So 2.5 skeins for this gorgeous t-shirt. Alrighty, so these 2 beautiful yarns are not only in the selection today, but I do think that it would be really fun to add some of these to our basket. And I would say maybe in order to like really like maybe to see people kind of play with the colors, what do you think, Matt, if we put 1 multi and 2 solids?
Yeah.
Just to give people
like
something
it.
to play with. So with that, please let me know, would you rather do berry colored, and then I'll pick the solids to go with that, or would you rather have green? Because I know a lot of people wanted green for the alpaca, so I'm kind of giving you the option now if you still want to go with green or if you want to go with berry, and we're going to add 1 of this and then 2 of the solids to our basket for our main giveaway. So let me know, green or berry, green or berry. Dee is feeling really sorry for you, Matt, because you did bingo yesterday wearing a wool sweater.
Well, I had to because I was wearing a football shirt.
And you couldn't have worn a football shirt?
Yeah. I mean, it's not the coziest look in the world, you know?
I mean,
For
fine,
yarn.
fair. Yeah. I thought you were going to
Natural.
say I couldn't wear it because I wasn't wearing anything underneath. And I was like,
Oh, no.
that's odd. I mean, you know.
I mean, it was a hot day, so I mean, no, I had a shirt on.
Okay.
It's
Now
all-
we're going to keep a little eye on the chat to see what people would like to see.
Mostly green.
It seems to be a lot of green.
Yeah, it's green.
Alrighty, Matt. So we're going to add the Rococo Linen Multi in this beautiful color. And then we're going to add color 14, which is called Vine, which is the one that I have here.
2 of those?
In there. No, I would say let's do one other color. Maybe the white, because I think that could also match really nicely.
Yeah, I like it.
What do you say, Matt? Let's do the Vine and Lace. Vine and Lace sounds like a cool...
Yeah.
Vine and Lace sounds like a cool kind of medieval romance set. Not medieval, more like whatever came later. Like 2 merchants. Vine, well, it's wine, not vine, but you know, and lace.
Yeah, I get you.
It just sounds luxurious. Anyway, you're going to get, our lucky winner today is going to get 1 beautiful Rococo Linen Multi in this green-gray combo, combined with the bright green Vine. And then we don't have the white in the studio, but we're putting this in as a representation of it. So these 3 are going into the basket along with the Wheel of Alpaca. And don't you worry, we've got more yarns coming up, and so there's going to be more added to the basket as we go along. And with that, we've ended Victorian. I love that people are now saying saying time periods where things could be set, and I don't even know when lace was like a hot commodity, but yeah, I guess Victorian kind of sounds right. But around that time, and then you just write a beautiful kind of romantic thriller. And with that, we are going to have a giveaway. This one is picked from the chat, so all you gotta do to participate on our giveaway now on YouTube and Facebook is just type hashtag #HobbyLive in the chat. So hashtag #HobbyLive in the chat to participate on our next giveaway. We're playing for a gift card with $25 or equivalent in your currency. So hashtag #HobbyLive. And while you do that, we can maybe get the next yarns here. Hashtag #HobbyLive for our next giveaway of a gift card worth $25. Let's go.
This next section
Yes.
is called what, Louisa?
So I kind of grouped these together, and then I came up with fun names for each sections. I mean, some of them are more fun than others. This next one is called Soft as a Baby's Behind. Except that's not the word that I put there. I wrote butt. I don't actually know if that's a phrase that other people use, but in German that's quite a common phrase that people will use to describe something. So if someone is like, if something's really soft, people will say it is soft as a baby's butt. So I can see loads of hashtag Hobby Live in the chat. I can see 310 of you have now entered our secret code and therefore entered our secret, not so secret, public. I mean, I'm telling you about it. It's not such a secret giveaways. Lisa's asking only once or more than once. If you've typed it once, it counts. It does not count how many times. So it just counts it once. Just make sure that you spell it exactly how it is spelled here, because that is what the system is looking for. So hashtag Hobby Live, the way it is spelled up here. We will play the giveaway song later in the show when we do our big basket giveaway. Dagmar is saying we have that in Dutch too, but it sounds uncomfortable in English. Yeah, I kind of, and apparently soft as a baby's bottom is actually the common phrasing in the US as well. So I should have written bottom. We have our winner. Congrats, congratulations to Ashley Elizabeth. Ashley Elizabeth, congratulations. You have won a gift card worth $25 or equivalent in your currency. In order to get your gift card, please do email us at live@hobie.com, live@hobie.com for Ashley Elizabeth. Congrats! You are winner number 2 today. And we do have 3 more giveaways coming up. We will have one random winner picked from everyone who's given this video a like, so be sure to do that if you're watching on Facebook. We'll have one more giveaway from the chat, and of course we have the yarn basket going at the end to one of you lucky folks. This next section was aptly named Soft as a Baby's Bottom because this is what these yarns are. So we have for you our beautiful Davina coming up first, and our beautiful soft alpaca. The name is soft, is already in the name. I mean, could this yarn get any more soft? Matt, where are the other yarns? I guess gone with the wind. I will start with these two. Davina is the first yarn I'm going to show you. It is what I always think of as the cloud yarn here at Hobie, because it is just so squishy. Look at that squish. Look at how squishable this yarn is. It's just, oh, I want to rub my face in it all day, every day. I could sleep on this yarn. It is so beautiful and soft. Davina is a blend of alpaca, polyamide, and wool. So it's a chainette yarn made from this polyamide tube. And on the lighter colors, the tube is normally a kind of white cream color, and on the darker colors, it is a dark kind of grayish blackish color. So it kind of blends into whatever color it is paired with. So the polyamide tube is then stuffed with alpaca and merino wool fibers, which makes this yarn absolutely stunningly airy and light. I mean, you can see how much air there is in these little tubes, whilst still being incredibly warm and maintaining a really lovely even structure. It is super soft, just this, and it is a worsted weight yarn that still is going to feel really light when worked up. The recommended hook or needle size is a 5 to 6 millimeter, and from personal experience, I can tell you, if you tend to crochet tightly, size up your hook, go on a 7 millimeter, just because, of course, as these, this chainette tube that the yarn is kind of filled into is a little bit more firm as you work it up, or gets a little bit more firm as you work it up, and doesn't have a whole lot of give. What that means is that if you crochet very tightly, it can be a little bit tough on the next row or next round to get back into your stitches, because there's very little give in this tube. So that's just a little tip from me. If you know that you crochet with really high tension, it might not be the worst idea to size up your hook. Because the first time I ever used Davina, I was really disappointed, because in the skein, I was so in love with it. I was so just enamored with this gorgeous yarn, and then I tried working it up, and it was a pain in the bottom to do it, and so later realized that I should have just sized up my hook. I have since worked it up and really enjoyed working with it, but yeah, the initial learning curve was If it doesn't quite fit with your style, try if you can just change your crochet hook and see if that makes it better. I just inhaled fluff.
Yeah, it's known to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm not gonna sneeze, I don't think. Matt is showing you the available color palette right there. Davina has a really lovely, kind of slightly more muted color palette that, yeah, just has a lot of these really lovely neutral shades and a little bit of kind of variegated colors. So you can see here, for instance, on this kind of aqua color, there are little hits of a kind of more yellowish green coming through, or here on the really nice kind of neutral brown tone, you have little bits that are a bit more gray than others. So there is a little bit of a color variation here. And of course the tube sometimes also shines through a little bit, giving it a bit of that kind of mottled look. It is a worsted weight yarn, super lovely to work with, super, super light and airy and beautiful. And we actually have a new pattern that only went online this week that I wanted to share with you. It is a knit pattern, because I did say that I would also have some gorgeous patterns for you knitters out there. It's an intermediate level knit pattern. It is the Snowshoe Men's Cardigan. Of course, anyone can wear this cardigan. But yeah, it's a snowshoe men's cardigan, available in sizes extra small, or you can make it in sizes extra small to 5XL. So a very, very big size range as well. And I think it looks super, super cool. It's kind of like very like academic, kind of very like cool professor.
I see it. Like this is what you wear if you're reading a bunch of books, for example, in your little fireplace
or
area.
also very like coastal grandpa. Like this is what you wear when you go out onto your porch to look out onto the sea with a pipe.
Yeah. I see it. Yeah.
It is a beautiful yarn. Big recommendation. A great yarn recommendation also for those of you who are very sensitive but would still like something that is like predominantly natural fibers and very, very warm. Davina, you can't really go wrong. It is just stunningly soft and gorgeous. Having it be so airy actually adds to its sort of temperature effects, because of course, as your body heat heats up the air pockets between the yarns, it actually like creates a really, really nice climate on your body to keep you very, very nice and protected. So absolutely beautiful. And like I said, we have a brand new pattern for a men's cardigan. We do have a lot of gorgeous patterns for Davina that you can find on our website. I've linked some more on the landing page as well that you can check out there. So it's an alpaca blend. And now we're moving on to a pure alpaca yarn. We've got soft alpaca coming up next. Soft alpaca is a fingering or sock weight yarn made from 100% alpaca. So, as Stephen would say, alpaca my bags.
He did.
I know. Yeah. Now I'm sad. Why did I bring this up?
Yeah.
It's sad when people leave. 100% alpaca yarn, so a beautiful, beautiful material. It can be a great alternative if you have any allergies, or if you just don't handle wool well. Alpaca can be a good alternative. On the flip side, there is also people who are allergic to alpaca, so always proceed with caution or just give it a little test. But it can be an amazing alternative if you're looking for something that's 100% natural fiber, very, very warm, very durable, made to withstand cold and weather and wind, and is not wool. Then alpaca can be your best friend. It's a beautiful, beautiful material, and our soft alpaca comes in a really lovely color, in a very lovely colors, kind of again a little bit more muted, some sort of jewel tones and a lot of neutrals, but also a few bright pops of color in between there, and so a very, very nice, what is the grayish purplish color?
This one? The plum?
Could be. This one's color 36 that I've been holding.
Oh, okay. It's further down.
There's also color 24, which we don't have in the studio.
Well, we can't have much in the studio, of course.
Right now, we don't have much in the studio. For those of you who haven't noticed, we've moved studio recently. That one is 36 Helleborus. Maybe that was the one. I don't know. That's the only purple I'm holding. I don't know.
Helleborus. That's fun.
Matt's going to look that up while I continue talking to you about soft alpaca. It's a color, it's a flower. Oh, that makes sense.
Beautiful.
Very nice. I love that gray. This one? We have a lot of beautiful, yeah, it's a lot of really beautiful colors. So you get 180 yards on one of these skeins. Like I said, it's a fingering or sock weight, so the recommended hook or needle size is a 3 to 4 millimeter, which makes it kind of a nice, it's a little thin for my personal taste. I always like to bulk up my yarns a little bit to go for a 4.5 hook or up. But at the same time, you then get these lovely projects that are not super bulky, but due to the material, the 100% alpaca, are still going to keep you really, really warm and protected from the elements. So it's a really, really lovely yarn for that. We do recommend that you hand wash this yarn for keeping it alive and beautiful for a very, very long time. And this is soft alpaca. We do have a gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous pattern that I picked out to show you for this yarn as well, which we will put up right now. It is the Lavender Hills sweater, which is this super cute kind of cropped sweater. It's an intermediate level knit pattern, so another one for you knitters out there. And it has this really beautiful little collar, which I think just looks super charming, and then a beautiful detail along the sleeves and also along the bottom of the sweater. So this is the Lavender Hills sweater. It is a raglan sweater. It is worked top down in the round, so you can adjust the length very easily to your liking, and it comes in sizes extra small to 2XL. So a very beautiful knitting project for those knitting experts out there, and looks absolutely beautiful with our soft alpaca, which is on the grey looked purple when you were holding it, said someone. Ah, that makes sense. That makes sense. So this beautiful yarn, 40% off with our code HAPPY40, 50% off if you're treating yourself to a bigger order, starting at $150 total. You can take 50% off with our code HAPPY50. Moving on within yarns that are soft as a baby's bottom, I have another contester here for you. This one is for those of you who are sensitive to both alpaca and wool, but still want something that feels just absolutely luxurious on your skin. Comes in very, very beautiful, luxurious, deep colors, and is super fun to work with. The next yarn I have for you is Sunbird. Some of you may remember it under a different name. It's called Sunbird now. It is a light worsted or DK weight yarn, so again in that kind of nice medium space with a recommended hook or needle size of 4 millimeters to 5 millimeters, and with a nice long yardage of 547 yards. So this one works up gorgeously for anything from tops to shawls to scarves to blankets to any kind of again cuddly cozy accessory. You can make beautiful blankets out of this. And it is made from 100% acrylic. So this is actually an acrylic yarn. However, it looks and feels like the softest, most gorgeous merino, or in fact, it always reminds me a lot of mercerized cotton, because the surface, if you look at it here, is kind of sealed, and so it's very, very, very smooth and shiny. You get one fixed color change from front to end, so every single skein has the same, not every single skein, but every single skein within the same color, you're going to get the same colors in the same order. So unlike a lot of the yarns I showed you earlier, which will have a kind of gradient, here you just get blocky stripes, or will have just starting at any color and moving through a bunch of colors all the way. Here you start on one, you go to the next, you go to the next, you go to the next, until you're in the middle. And you can see all of those on the website. It's a little bit difficult because when they're in the warehouse, they are rolled up properly like they should, like this. However, in order to take the pictures of the yarns on our website, we've had to kind of scoop them inside out like so. And so the pictures on the website actually show the colors a lot better than the ones that I have here, because these are still relatively intact. The colors are stunningly vibrant on this yarn, so it's a very, very vibrant colors and just very lovingly put together in like a kind of concept. My personal favorite is the number 1 actually, which we don't have in the studio, but maybe Matt can pull it up for us. There we go. There you can see all the available colors that we have, and you can see what the colors look like that have been put together. Hannah saying, I've got some Sunbird in my stash. I can't remember the pattern I wrote it. I got it for, but I wrote it down. It's definitely super soft. And then Sunbird is so lovely. It is very, very nice. And Holly is actually sharing a tip that I also always like to share with you whenever I have this on the show. Because while this is absolutely beautiful to work with, and while it glides over your needles like you wouldn't believe, one thing it does is, and you can kind of see it here, due to having this super smooth surface, it tangles very quickly. So my big recommendation is, if you get yourself a Sunbird, do yourself the favor and wind it into either a ball or a cake before you work with it. If you you can work from the skein. It is also kind of, it is possible. It's made to be worked from the skein. However, in my personal experience, this turns into knots upon knots upon knots very, very quickly. And once you've got some really bad ones in there, they become almost impossible to untangle. So highly recommend turning this into a little cake or into a little ball before you work with it, just for ease of use. That's just from my personal experience as someone who has had to cut one of these up because it got too tangled to work with. So highly recommend. So this is a beautiful Sunbird. We do have a pattern, again, another knit pattern. I did try to sort of find some spot for the knitters, but I will have some more crochet patterns as well in future installments. This is the Météorite asymmetrical shawl. It's an asymmetrical shawl that you can knit from 2 of the butterflies, and it actually kind of goes and uses them, one from the outside, one from the inside, and then in stripy patterns to get this really cool look. It's a beginner friendly pattern and you can download it for free. It's done completely in garter stitch, so relatively easy, minus then the color changing, which then I guess is the skill that you might learn when making this pattern. Sunbird is machine washable at medium temperature, so it's easy to take care of. It is an acrylic yarn, so super soft on the skin, very durable and very versatile. Maybe we can check out the user gallery real quick to also give you some nice ideas for what you can make with it. And as you can see, oh, that dress looks really cool. Jurgita made a summery dress out of this yarn. It looks really cool. I love the pocket as well. As someone who's like I'm a little sort of sweater paw or like kind of kangaroo pocket girly, I really appreciate that someone added that.
Because you don't want to carry your own arms. You want
I
to
do
like,
not.
yeah.
No, I want them snug put away. What you can see here is also quite a lot of granny stitch projects, a lot of sort of granny stitch or granny square projects. A really cool way to work with these yarns, of course, is to use them for these kind of projects and then get the color changes as they happen. So you do get lovely colors without having, again, to weave in 5 million ends. So highly recommended for that. Lexi saying, many tangles sounds like a great evening to me. I love untangling. I do not. I don't have the patience for it. I give up so easily when it comes to that. I just, yeah.
Have you seen what happens whenever you Google Météorite?
I did see that.
That's cool.
I mean, this morning on the train, the internet cut out, and I spent about 10 minutes of my commute playing the Matt is pulling up to show you that a little meteorite goes across when you Google meteorite. I played with the no internet dinosaur. And that was very fun.
It's a classic.
Because the internet just cut out while I was going, and then I was like... Hannah saying, I want to try knitting, but I was told it was harder to knit than crochet, and so I'm a little nervous about it. So I actually learned the very basics of knitting first and then learned how to crochet. And I would say, I would agree that knitting took me longer to pick up and get into. However, I do think that with the right teacher, and in my case I had Jaya as my teacher who was phenomenal, it can be a really pleasant start. And once you kind of start seeing results and you start figuring out for what kind of project you prefer which method, I think it then is easier to stick with. So I don't disagree that knitting is a little bit trickier, I think, to figure out, also in terms of just holding things, because when you're knitting, you're constantly holding like your project with both hands essentially, whereas with crochet you kind of hold it with one hand and then just work with the other. So I do think it's a little bit easier just in terms of the motor skill. But I mean, I guess there's probably someone out there who says, no, I've been knitting for 50 years and I cannot deal with crochet, it is so hard. So I think we're all a little bit different there for this. And Di is saying, some days I rather untangle than crochet. Cannot relate. I don't have the patience for that at all. But if you are careful with your sunbird, then you won't have to. And if you do want a yarn that tangles, Sunbird can be that yarn for you. It is part of our beautiful, beautiful selection today. So you get 40% off if you use our code HAPPY40 or 50% off if you use our code HAPPY50. So treat yourself to some Sunbird. The final yarn in this selection, I guess we don't have in the studio. It is our beautiful Friends Cotton Silk, which we can now only show you on the screen. It is a blend of 77% cotton and 23% silk. It is part of our Friends line, so the individual colors all are compatible with other Friends colors that we have. And it is actually not dissimilar in structure to the Rococo linen that I showed you earlier, in that you have a kind of bouncy, soft cotton thread, and then you have the silk wrapped around it like a little
you're in luck.
Vine.
I used it for bingo, so I actually have a little bit over there. You see it? You see the one?
No.
In the basket?
Blind? In this basket?
Yes. It's right there. In front of you. It's the first one. You see, there's a little donut. No, the basket above. There we go.
I've been looking at the wrong basket, Matt.
Yeah.
I stand corrected. We do have some yarn in the studio. Let me show you what I mean. So remember how the Rococo linen had the kind of bouncy cotton thread and then had the linen and viscose wrapped around it? This is kind of similar in that you here have the silk wrapped around the cotton. So the silk is the slightly darker threads that you see here, and then the cotton is in the center. This is a super lovely, soft blend, very fun to work with. It's a light worsted or DK weight yarn. You can work it out with a 4mm to 5mm hook or needle, and it is machine washable at low to medium temperature. So this is our Friends Cotton Linen, which is a lovely summer yarn. Well, it's not just a summer yarn, it's a lovely yarn for all seasons, but it's great for some lovely, I just shook the table, summer projects to work up. I've used this for some scarves. It's very, very fun, very easy to work with, and hashtag Matt saves the day. Yes, he does.
Well, bingo last week saved the day.
So Matt saved the day not because just because he hasn't tidied up from last week's bingo.
Exactly. Yeah.
There goes that.
Sometimes it's good that I don't do it.
Yes.
Also, we have a lot of we actually moved the entire studio.
Yeah, we moved the entire studio last week, so there wasn't really anywhere to put it. We do have this amazing knit pattern for it as one example of what you can make with this. This is the Flutter by Top. The pattern can be made in sizes XXS to 6XL, so you have a wide range of sizes available for this really cool top that has the little collar, which I think looks really, really sweet, and then a little I was going to say braid detail, but it's cable detail along the front. I think it looks super sort of classy and sophisticated, but it's still a nice top, so it's perfect for the summer. So that was just one beautiful example of what you can make with our Friends Cotton Silk. It's the Flutter by Top pattern. It is linked on our landing page. It is also linked when you go to the Friends Cotton Silk product page, and you can also find it linked there then. So this was our Friends Cotton Silk, which is part of today's live selection. And it is 40% off with our code HAPPY40 or 50% off if you are placing a bigger order using our code HAPPY50. We do have a basket to fill, and I do think that I would quite like to add 2 sunbirds to that basket.
2 sunbirds.
And I would say, just to make this a little bit easier, I'll just pick my favorite colors. So I would say we're doing color 1 because that's my favorite. It's called Monarch. And then I would say we are doing the color 10 because I think that's a really beautiful summer color.
Yeah.
So I think I would like to see what people make with these very summery yarns. So we're going to put 2 sunbirds into our little prize basket here. They are going in now. So the basket is slowly filling. We do still have quite a lot of yarns to go through. So we're going to add some more as we go along. With that, we have finished the soft as a baby's bottom. I was trying to remember which word it was that we had agreed on was the correct one. Soft as a baby's bottom section. Tiffany's saying, I've got to try the Friends Cotton. Yes, you do. If you are into pure cotton yarns, Friends Cotton is amazing. If you want to try the Friends Cotton Silk for something a little bit different, also highly recommend that. And it's just really fun to work with and gives you really nice results. We do have also one more giveaway winner to announce. This person was picked from everyone who gave this little video a like. So thank you to all of you who did. It means a lot. It means a lot to us. And congratulations to Deshaun Peak. Bless you.
Thank you.
Deshaun Peak, congratulations. You are our winner for a gift card worth $25. Deshaun Peak. Deshaun, please email us at live@hobbii.com to redeem your gift card or to get your gift card, and then you can shop to your heart's content. Congrats, Deshaun. And we will have 2 more giveaways. We'll have one more from the chat, and we will have our basket at the end. And I need to get to that, so I'm going to have to speed up a little bit, which is hard because the next yarn that we're talking about is my favorite. I have a lot of favorite yarns, but this I think has been my absolute favorite. Holly Ann is asking, do these happen every week? We do have a live shopping every week. We kind of vary the offers, or the exact content of it is a little bit different every week. So this week we've got a sort of a little bit of an extra big one. So we've got a lot of extra big yarns, but we do have a different selection every week with different discounts, and always lovingly prepared by yours truly.
Hey. We have Deshaun in the chat.
Deshaun's in the chat. Very happy to have won. Woo woo! Congratulations.
And thank you guys, by the way.
And thank you all for being here, and thank you all for playing along. And it means a lot to us that you tune in every week, or every few weeks, or every once in a while. It's just very nice that we get to do this. It's a very fun part of the job, I would say. Just getting to chat about yarn and crafting with you, and with you, Matt. It's also nice working with you.
Thank you. Thank you. You too.
So we've got 2 yarns. I've just now meshed them together. For all of you mohair lovers and all of you fans of just very, very fluffy, very, very bright, colorful yarns. Diablo and Diablo Wild Print. Now, Diablo and Diablo Wild Print are made from the same basic material. They're lace weight yarns. I mean, need I say more? Look how thin those threads are. And they are made from a blend of 40% acrylic, 30% mohair, and 30% polyamide.
Post it.
Thank you. All the yarn fluff. And they come in these super, super lightweight donuts that have 246 yards on them. So one of these runs for 246 yards. One of these runs quite a long way. Our mohair yarns, Diablo, Diablo Wild Print, can be used on their own, in which case you get to pick. Do you just want to use single strand for a really, really light and airy result? Do you want to bulk them up by using 2, 3, 4, 5? And then of course, depending on the needle size, you get anywhere from a really, really tight to a really, really soft and airy result. It's really cool to work with. It is also very lovely to work with as an additional thread in combination with something like, for instance, our soft alpaca that we have on the show today. They work really lovely together. Our winter glow works very nicely with a mohair. And all it does is just add this little bit of extra fluff and a little bit of extra just softness and texture to your products. So you've got the thread here, which you can see is super, super thin, but then it has a lot of volume around it because there is all of these little mohair fibers sticking out and away. Diablo is solid colored and comes in a wide range of colors. So we've got some Diablo here. It also is, in my opinion, the yarn with the single cutest logo, because I think that this little guy looks exactly like Calcifer from Howl's Moving Castle, which I love. And then Diablo Wild Print is made from the same material, same yardage, same weight, but instead of being solid colored, it is dyed in short bursts of colors. So you don't get a stripy look with this, you truly get a sort of melange of different colors. Some of them are a little bit more wild, it is called wild print, and some of them are a little bit more within one color family. So you can choose just how intense you want your kind of color blend, or if you want it a little bit more tone in tone. Absolutely beautiful. You can also combine them with each other very nicely. So if you want to make something that just has like a little bit more of a wild colorway, you could just combine both the wild print and Diablo with itself. Very, very lovely, airy, soft texture, or if added to another project, just adds that extra bit of fluff and that kind of really cool mohair look and feel. I know that mohair can be a little bit irritating on the skin for some of you, in which case, if you know you're quite sensitive to it, you could still use this perfectly for something like a vest or a little bolero, something that's not going to be on your skin the whole time. Matt is going to pull up the full colors for Diablo because we only have a handful here in the studio, and so I think it's very nice to be able to show you all the available colors for Diablo. And you can see there is nothing missing from that color palette. It is any shade you could want and dream of is there. And for the wild print, you have a mix of, like I said, some more subtle and some very out there color combinations. It is a really cool way to also add a little bit of kind of that, kind of like a, when combined, like I used to always say, if you combine this with umami, you essentially make your own umami tweed, because umami is so bulky that the way this wraps around it almost gives you that exact same effect. So it's also a really cool way to play with colors. We do actually, I think, have a lot of beautiful examples in the user gallery of how it can be combined. So maybe we can check those out, Matt. Just to give you an idea, because especially with the wild print, I think it's just really nice to see just how the colors play out when used. And you can see there, for instance, like, let's check one of these, like pull one of these closer. For instance, here you've got you've got Cookie mixed with the Diablo wild print. So both of those yarns already have color changes, so it just kind of gives a little bit of an extra effect. And then here you've got really lovely fingerless mitts that I think are also made by blending it with another yarn, but it doesn't say which one. And then Kiara made this cat hat, which is made from Happy Place with a strand of Diablo wild print as well. So you can see that it just kind of adds a little bit something extra to the way the color works. And here April actually just made it by holding 3 strands of it with our vegan cashmere. So a very, very cool project as well, April. And yeah, so that's kind of what the Diablo wild print will look like when worked up. And of course, like I said, you can work it up by itself, single strands, multi-strands, as many as you want, or combine it with something else. My personal preference is to use this with a yarn like our Unicorn Solid, or to use it with something like our Friends Extra Fine Merino. It gives a really, really beautiful result. It just gives that little bit of extra in terms of the color, and then it's just super, super soft and fluffy and just amazing. So those are Diablo and Diablo Wild Print. Both of them we recommend that you hand wash to maintain their fluffiness as long as possible. And with mohair yarns, if over time they do felt up a little bit, especially if it's something like a jacket where you lean against things maybe a lot in the back, you can always use a little wool comb or a little mohair brush and just brush it out again to make it nice and fluffy again. So that's just a little tip for how to care for your projects when you work with this beautiful, beautiful yarn combo. So this is Diablo and Diablo Wild Print, and along with this we have some more glittery yarns coming up, and I actually also have another poll, which I mentioned kind of in the beginning. So I know some of you don't see the polls as they appear, but I still thought it'd be fun to ask about this, because I know that our selection is always quite all-encompassing. That's just partially due to not wanting to limit myself to like certain materials, but also just because I think that a lot of people craft kind of differently. But I just want to know, because I'm curious, with summer now approaching, are you currently more likely to craft winter or summer projects? Or also generally, actually in general, are you more likely to craft kind of wintry projects or summer projects? Or is it either one, so both, or is it neither? Because I know that for a very, 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 very long time, and I know this is going to sound really stupid, but this is also way before I ever worked with crafting or crafted myself, is in my head I just had this idea that you just knit winter things. Like you knit hats, you knit scarves, you knit sweaters. And it truly did not occur to me to knit or crochet summer items. And I know that that sounds really stupid, but I'm kind of curious if there's anyone out there who's like, yeah, I actually kind of exclusively knit winter items, and then for summer I sew or I do other stuff. So yeah, I know it might be a bit of a weird question, but this was something that popped into my head when I was preparing. I was like, oh, that's something I would love to know. So let me know, are you more of a winter crafter, summer crafter, or either one or both? Or do you do neither? Because could be that you say, well, I actually exclusively do one specific pattern over and over, like some people are known to do occasionally. Could be that. So these next two yarns are actually for all of you who love a bit of glitter, who love a bit of color. And they're actually also, I would say, yarns that, again, you can use pretty much year round depending on what you make. So we've got our Glitter Delight and we've got Panettone. And they are completely different, but they share some commonalities. Our Glitter Delight is this beautiful, beautiful blend. It's 49% cotton, 50% acrylic, and then 1% is the glitter polyester strand that is wrapped around the whole thing. And similar to what I explained about the Friends Cotton Silk, actually, you see that you have the inner thread that is essentially not twisted at all and is just very nice and bouncy. And then you've got this glitter strand wrapped around it. So throughout, oh no, I think Matt swallowed a fly maybe. One half of the thread is always white on the Glitter Delight and the other side of it is colored. So you get a really cool multicolor effect when working with this yarn. Here's a different color to show you a little bit more, because there's a little bit more contrast, so it pops up on camera a little bit more. The yarn is super, super soft. The polyester really sinks into it because all these fibers are kind of bouncy and bunched up like this. And so you don't really feel it when you touch the yarn, which also means that it is less likely to cause any irritation on your skin. This is a bulky yarn. You have a recommended hook or needle size of 6 to 7 millimeters. So again, works up really nicely and quickly. And you get 114 yards on one of this. I love that, like, I craft off season, which is a really, really smart way to craft, I think, because then you're done with what you need when you're getting there. And I can see that a lot of you've said either, so both summer and winter projects, but right after that is the cold and winter. So I think I wasn't that far off when I said that in my head, knitting and crocheting is sort of something that you do for like winter objects. But I will also admit that I had no idea what an amigurumi was when I started working at Hobbii. It didn't, like, that wasn't really something that was on my mind. But I'm kind of, yeah, it's interesting. I imagined that most of you would say, like, my crafting goes beyond seasons. But also good to know that I wasn't that off with the idea that it's more of a winter and fall thing. In which case, it's also good, I think, that we have some yarns that in the selection that are also winter applicable. With the Glitter Delight, like I said, because you always have one half of the thread being white and then the other half being colored, as you work it up, of course, it's going to twist and fall either way, which also means that you get a really cool like blend of the colors. Maybe we can show the swatches first, actually. And so just to give you an idea of what it looks like when worked up, here are some of the swatches. So we can actually do, I think I have the number one here. Yes, so we can do, hang on, let's go back to the number one. You have the skein and you have the swatch. So this is how it looks like when it is worked up, and we've got the same with color number 2. There you have skein and swatch. So you can see that sometimes the color will be more forward facing, sometimes the white, and so you get this really cool kind of blend of the two while also still having that gradient of the colors changing throughout the skein and the little pops of gold and glitter peeking through. So that is our Glitter Delight, which I have worked up with for baskets before, which also worked very nicely. I made a basket for my sister's wedding. I combined this with I think 2 strands of an acrylic that I had lying around. And here you can see Danielle made a gorgeous and heavy blanket using color 2, which is very much cat approved, and that cat looks so cute. I love a little ginger cat. Oh. There are other examples in the gallery. You can also use this, of course, for sweaters. You can use it for cardigans. You can use it for any kinds of accessories. And Casey's saying, I have a tendency to crochet in season, but then I always have to wait for the following year to use it. And I totally agree with that, because I think there's something about it when it's cold and rainy and gray. I also don't really gravitate towards saying, ooh, I'm going to make a summer dress now. I also think, ooh, I'm going to make a nice cozy sweater. And then, because I'm a very, very slow crafter, it takes me way longer than the season to finish any of these projects.
A year?
Yeah. Has happened. Definitely has happened. I am actually making a lot of headway on the Suki slipover, because I am still working on it behind the scenes, and we will have a final episode of Craft and Chat of that kind of season of Craft and Chat. We will have more Craft and Chat in the future. Don't worry, everyone. But because I'm going to Germany next week, and so with holidays coming up, we've had to kind of push it a little bit, which gives me a little bit of extra time to finish it. So that's nice. This is Glitter Delight, which is 40% off with our code HAPPY40 or 50% with our code HAPPY50 if your order total surpasses $150. And the other yarn that I showed you a little bit before is Panettone. And Panettone, or Panettone, like the Italian holiday cake, is a blend of 87% cotton, 7% polyamide, and 6% metallic fibers. And so where on the Glitter Delight, the glitter is added by having this polyester thread wind around the center yarn. Here you've got them all in one, but you still have that two-toned quality. I'm actually going to pull up again one that has a little bit more contrast. So here you can see you still have a two-toned thread, except this is a tube or a little chainette, so you do actually have a very, very even and very solid base, and then every once in a while the color is just switched out for some glitter. So you still get really lovely changes in color, you still get that white and colored mix that gives it that really cool color effect on Panettone as well. It is a light worsted or DK weight yarn with a recommended hook or needle size of 4.5 to 5.5 millimeters, and we recommend that you hand wash this yarn to preserve it best as possible. Lexi's saying, I'm working on a cardigan for my wife. It's been going on for about 3 years. Yeah, I mean, we relate because yeah, that has definitely happened to me. A friend of mine asked me recently, a colleague who also works here, because we were talking about works in progress, and I kind of just jokingly said, well, I mean, I've already got like 15 of them lying around my apartment, because I also sometimes just pick up a skein and start working on something. And she just said, well, I could never. It would stress me out. And I said, no. I have a system now. I now have a basket that is exclusively for whips, and that sits at the very top of my shelf. And if I go around the room and I look at something and I go, I haven't touched this in a few weeks, then it just goes into the basket for a while. So far, only one project has made it out of the basket again. I'll keep you posted how it goes, but it's my whip basket that just sits at the very top of my shelf on top of my desk. But that way it's also kind of like, it's harder because then the projects are out of sight, out of mind, and you know, it just gets worse. Here you can see some swatches. So once again, to show you what the yarn looks like when worked up. It's always, I think, a little bit easier to kind of then to try and imagine, but here we have a skein and then we have the swatch. And so you see what it looks like from skein to swatch, and actually all of the colors have swatches for them, so you can look them up. So this is panettone, which is a great yarn for anything you want to make. It has a very nice, kind of very durable structure as well due to the chainette. So this is also something you could use to make bags, for instance. You could use this to make accessories. You can make this to use clothing. I think this would look really cool, maybe for like a little bucket hat as well, with the glitter, especially with music festival season coming up and everything. I think this could be a really cool yarn for that. Or for any kind of decorations, you could make a really cool placemats out of this, I would imagine, or little trivets or something like that. So this is panettone, which is 40% off with our code HAPPY40 or 50% off with our code HAPPY50 if you're shopping for more than $150. And with that, we've reached the end of our next section, and that means it is time to put some items in the basket. And I do think, because it is my favorite yarn, I would say, how about we put one Diablo wild print and one Diablo in? And in terms of colors, we've not really done any reds or purples. So,
Raging pink.
Do you want to do Raging Pink? Matt wants to do Raging Pink.
Look at that.
Matt, you've got it. We'll put one Diablo in wild print in Raging Pink in the basket. And we will, I would say, put one solid color Diablo to go with it as well, in a similar kind of Raging Pink color. So Matt is going to choose, which one are you going to go for, Matt?
I mean, yeah.
Matt is going to choose number 45, Hot Pink, to go in the basket as well. We don't have that here. I'm putting the next best color that we have in. Those go in the basket, and I do think, because I've just raved about how I think it'd be super cute for summer accessories, I'm also going to put two panettones in the basket as well for our lucky winner to try out. And I actually think the number 5 is my favorite there, because it's this one, which is super bright and sparkly and really kind of cool. So I'll say we put 2 of that in the basket as well. So this is now our little prize basket. It is slowly but steadily filling up, and we've got some more yarns to talk about and some more yarns to go through. So, this final section of the yarns is kind of the oldies, goldies, and kind of, I don't want to say basic, because basic, classic yarns. So we have some more favorites in there, and some cotton yarns as well, for those of you who've been sticking around for that. Before we get there, we do have our last chat giveaway. So Matt is going to start that now. Soon. Matt is going to start that now. To participate on our giveaway, you can take part on Facebook and on YouTube, and all you got to do is type #HobbyLive in the chat before this timer runs out. So type this before this timer runs out for a chance to win a gift card worth $25. And we are going to, yes, get some of our yarns out for the next section while that happens. A lot of people are saying the number 5 is their favorite, so I'm very glad we picked that, because I think it looks super cool, and I think it's going to be a super fun kind of summer color and summer yarn. And we are going to find our second to last giveaway winner, and I can see a lot of people are saying six whips is what they've got going, 6 whips. And Rosemary is saying, what do I have to do to try and win the basket? You have to stick around until the end for me to tell you that. We will have a little giveaway happening at the end, of course, where I will have a little question for you, and the best guesser is going to win our yarn basket. So, could you hand me some of the yarns? Thank you. We've got 15 seconds left for you to put hashtag #HobbyLive, the way it is spelled right here, into the chat on Facebook and YouTube for a chance to hop on in. And we will do the giveaway song before the end, before our final big giveaway. Do not worry, we have not forgotten. And I can see now it's time to pick our winner. And who will it be? Dawn Marie is saying, I have too many whips to count. I also think I haven't really, like, I also don't actually know how many it is. I mean, what do you count as a whip too? Like, what do you actually count? Because if you just do like 3 stitches on something, then is that already a work in progress, or is that just, you've just started something? We have our winner, congratulations, and it is Deanne Masio Cavett. Congratulations, Deanne. You are our lucky winner. You will receive a gift card worth $25. All you gotta do is please email us to live@hobby.com and you will find a win. You will find your gift card. Congratulations, Deanne.
You will receive it, of course.
You will, yes.
Yes.
Yes, what did I say?
Your way. Yeah.
Yes. That is what will happen, Deanne, and our other winners as well. So please email us. And someone is asking, do you actually weave in the ends as you go? So that's something I've started doing fairly recently on some projects. It really depends. I also always kind of shudder when I see patterns on Etsy or even on our own website that say they're beginner friendly. And then I just kind of look at it and just ask myself, but how many ends do you need to weave in for this? Because it might be beginner friendly in the sense that it's very basic stitches, but if I have to weave in ends every 5 minutes because it's something that's like a really intricate kind of floral lace pattern or something, then to me that's it might be beginner friendly, but at the same time it's not Louisa friendly, so then I just don't do it. So we've got 4 more yarns coming up, and I'm just going to quickly go through them just to let you know. We've got Lollipop, which is another one for those of you who love blocky stripes, and this one is a lot chunkier and bulkier and more wintry. We've got then on the exact opposite end of it, we've got a beautiful, beautiful cake yarn, which is Dahlia, and then we've got the absolute ultimate sort of classic amongst the classic, which is Friends Cotton 8.4 and Friends Cotton 8.8. So 2 cotton yarns. I'm gonna start with Lollipop real quick. Lollipop is a blend of 80% acrylic and 20% wool. It has a very nice kind of woolly feel to it. It has that slightly more rustic feel to it as well. And it has really lovely stripes. Lollipop is a yarn that is excellent for warmer and heavier clothing, but also things like blankets. It's a worsted weight yarn. You get 382 yards on one of these cakes, and we do recommend a hook or needle size of 5mm to 6mm. It is machine washable at low to medium temperature, so easy to take care of, and it is a really, really fun yarn for all of you who like stripes. Every single cake is going to look a little bit different, which is why the product picture also shows 3 cakes, because it just kind of gets wound up, and when it's over it gets cut and then the next one starts, which means that with this, unlike with Butterfly or unlike with Dahlia, you don't get one fixed colorway on each of them. You get the same colors, but both the order and the amounts and the starting and end point may vary. So that's just good to know, and that's also why you end up with 3 on the picture. You only get 1 if you order it, if you order 1. Maybe we can quickly check out the user gallery to just give you some ideas of what Lollipop looks like when worked up. Ooh, can you go to the picture of the lady in the snow? This is from Edith, who made a set. And Edith, I don't know if you're watching, this looks so cool. This looks awesome. So Edith, shout out. This looks super cool. So if you want to make yourself a super cool set like Edith, you can use Lollipop. If you want to make yourself a super cool eye jumper like Lorraine, you can also use it. That looks super cool. I love it. And of course, if you want to make yourself a lovely little granny inspired top like Joey, also Lollipop is there for you. Ruth is asking about butterfly. I meant sunbird. Sorry, I meant sunbird.
Wait, what? You said sunbird, I think. You didn't say anything else.
I don't know. Maybe I did.
You would never say anything else than that, of course. Those two things are not related after all. Yeah.
Linda is also giving props to Edith because it looks so nice.
Very cool.
It's very cool. But this is Lollipop, and I wish I had more time. But I've already seen some people asking, how much longer does this go? So normally we try to keep it under 2 hours, but with 20 yarns we knew that was going to be tough. But I am going to wrap it up soon. But Lollipop is part of today's selection, so you get 40% off on it with code Happy40, or 50% if you place a bigger order. 50% applies starting at $150 or 125 pounds. So that's Lollipop. And I already said we have another one. We have Dahlia. And Dahlia is a cotton cake. So Dahlia is a fingering it's a sport weight yarn. Huh, interesting. I would have thought it's a fingering or sock weight. Sport weight yarn made from 4 cotton plies or threads, and these are not twisted, so you just get 4 threads of cotton sitting next to each other, and the gradient is created similarly to the Wheel of Alpaca I showed you at the very beginning, where you start with a solid color either on the inside or outside, and then one of these 4 threads changes color at a time, and so it runs through a really, really soft gradient where the colors are always kind of modeled together, and then until the end where you have another solid, or I mean the same goes of course in this direction as well. So you get this really soft gradient. You get 875 yards, so you have quite a long ways for the gradient to develop. And we recommend a 2.5 to 3.5 millimeter needle or hook when working with Dahlia. It comes in a small but very beautiful color palette. Everything from slightly more summery to darker shades, all kind of inspired by Dahlias, I would imagine. And a very, very nice yarn for all of you who love doing things like shawls, for all of you who love doing things like color changing t-shirts. It is on the thinner side, so it's a bit more of a summery yarn, although again, there is really no season to crafting, I guess. And perfect, I think, for those kinds of projects. You can machine wash this at low to medium temperature, and I do actually have one pattern I wanted to share with you for a beautiful shawl. Someone was asking if the threads tend to separate when you work with it, because of course, as you have these 4, by the way, you have an easy start tab on this. So if you're starting your cake from the middle, the starting thread is already marked with a little paper tag for you to make it easier. But of course, because you have these 4 and they're not really one, like you have 4 individual threads, which gives you a very nice and light, like airy texture, which in comparison to a twisted cotton yarn, this is going to be a lot more solid. This is going to be a lot more firm when worked up compared to this, which is going to be a lot more flowy. However, of course, that is a little bit more challenging because as you crochet with it, it can quite quickly happen that you just kind of pick up 2, continue on, and then after a few seconds realize, oh, there's now this hanging out. What does help from what I've learned from you out there actually is pulling all 4 through a little bead, and a heavier one at that, so that there is something that they run through on the way to your hook or needle, and then also acts as a little bit of a counterweight to keep them together. So that's one tip that you could try, and then otherwise I think it also comes with a lot of practice. Someone asked how Dahlia compares to Fruta. Very different. So Fruta 1 is a lot more twisted, so you don't have 4 individual little plies hanging around. You have a much more stable thread. Also, Fruta is dyed in kind of small bursts of color, whereas Dahlia just has the one gradient running through it. So those are kind of the two. So a lot of people are saying like hang a charm on the end to keep the strands together or pull it through a bead. Exactly. Like those are some really good tips if you're a beginner trying to work with these untwisted cake yarns. Here you can see one beautiful project that you could make with Dahlia. This is the Venus shawl, which is a beginner-friendly crochet pattern. The total shawl is roughly 69.5 inches long and 31.5 wide, or 80 centimeters by 177 or thereabouts. So a really nice, lovely shawl that you can then wrap yourself up in on a cold summer's evening. And it is made with the beautiful, beautiful Dahlia. And you're going to need 2 to make that shawl. So 2 Dahlias make 1 Venus shawl. And finally, we do have our final yarns of the night. And I've kind of used them as reference points before, but still. We also have 40% off with code HAPPY40 or 50% off with code HAPPY50 on our Friends Cotton 8.4 and our Friends Cotton 8.8. For those of you who've never heard these numbers, if you are a beginner, completely understandable. I also did not know about these numbers. So 8.4 cotton, which is what I'm holding here, is a 4-ply cotton. So like Dahlia, which is made of 4 plies of cotton yarn, this is the same, except as you can see here, the 4 are twisted together to make 1 thread. And so you're working with this one very stable, very even thread of 100% cotton yarn. It is a very, very versatile yarn. 8.4 cotton is sort of your baseline cotton yarn that a ton of projects are made with. It is great for anything from bags, accessories, home decor items, to clothing, to amigurumi, so little characters and creatures and plushies. It is truly the sort of most classic yarn out there, I would say, or one of the most classic yarns out there. And 8.8 cotton, you might be able to guess if 8.4 is a 4-ply cotton, 8.8 is an 8-ply cotton, so it is twice as thick. Our 8.4 cotton is a fingering or sock weight yarn, and then Friends Cotton 8.8 is a light worsted or DK weight yarn. Both of them are always the same kind of size skeins, and so that means that on a Friends Cotton 8.4 you get a yardage of 174, and then on the 8.8 you get 82 yards, so roughly half the length of each other. You can truly make anything out of these yarns. They are durable, they're machine washable at high temperature. We do recommend 40 degrees Celsius. However, if you are making a project like a little dishcloth or a little makeup wipe or anything for a baby, something that you might want to wash at higher temperature, the cotton can 100% withstand it. It might just be that the colors fade a little bit faster, so just keep that in mind. But other than that, you can wash this at high temperature. It's super easy to take care of. For the Friends Cotton 8.4, we recommend a hook or needle size of 2.5 millimeters to 3.5 millimeters roughly. Oh wait, that's not focusing properly. There you go. I just wanted to show you the yarn up close a little bit more. And for the 8.8, so the twice as thick yarn, come on, focus camera, we recommend that you use a 3.5 to 4.5 millimeter hook or needle to work it up. There is
what does the first 8 mean?
And that's the actual kind of, it's an old measurement for the individual ply. So it is technically 4 plies of an 8 cotton thread. So it's an old way of counting yarn weights or yarn thickness. That's a little bit antiquated, but for cotton still gets used quite frequently just because it is an easy way of spotting, is this 4 ply, is this 6 ply, is this 8 ply? We now have a 7-ply cotton yarn as well. We will be talking about that in a future episode, I'm sure.
And your halo is also made out of these 8.4s.
Yeah, my halo that's behind me is also made from 8.4 cotton. Although because I'm standing now, it's not so much of a halo. Like when I was sitting, it was a lot more halo-y. And so these are our last yarns of the night. I did pick 2 really cute patterns that I want to share because I think they're really fun and a little bit more like the final ones are a bit more summery. These are made with Friends Cotton 8.4 and it's the Granny Smith skirt and top combo. Both of these are intermediate level crochet patterns, and I love the name because they're granny squares, but the green color is also very clearly a Granny Smith color, so I just...
The best apple.
Is it?
Yeah.
Do you think so?
I think so.
Huh.
I
Like a sour...
I like a sour apple.
Yeah, I love a
good.
Granny Smith. That with some blue cheese.
Not tried it, but blue cheese is good on its own, honestly.
Yeah, and it's really good with a sour apple.
Ooh, okay.
It's a killer combo, Matt. You must try. But yeah, it's the Granny Smith skirt and the Granny Smith top. Both of those patterns are available for free.
That is the blue cheese right now.
Matt is now realizing that the Granny Smith color combo actually looks a little bit like they put a Granny Smith apple with some blue cheese. You're not wrong. And the color palette is big, let's say that. So for the 8/4 cotton or 8/8 cotton, you get heaps of colors. You get anything from the neutrals to various shades of yellows, pinks, reds, blues, greens, and so on. So truly any kind of project you would want to make, you can make it with our Friends 8/4 cotton or Friends 8/8 cotton. If you're in a pinch, if you've started something with an 8/8 and it is sold out, you can double up 2 strands of the 8/4 to kind of match the thickness. You will see a difference in the stitches. It's just going to have a little different look and a different structure to it. However, depending on where you are in your project, you may actually be able to make that work. So that's just a little tip towards the end. I think with this being our final yarns of the night, it would be fitting to maybe add some to our giveaway basket. So I would actually really like to add 2 8/4s and 2 8/8s to the basket.
In what color?
And I feel like the one color that we have nothing in there yet is the yellows and oranges. So how about we do a sort of 2 sunflower yellows for the 8/4 cotton. We don't have them in the studio, so I'm just going to pop them in like so. And 2 sort of orange tones for, yes, the 31 pumpkin. 2 of those in the 8/8 cotton are going in the basket as well. So as a final little touch, these yarns are going in the basket. So we have our little giveaway basket ready to be won by one of you. And that means it is now time for the giveaway jingle.
Are you ready?
Are you ready?
I'm ready. 1, 2, 3.
It's a giveaway. It's a giveaway. It's a giveaway time. It's a giveaway time. It's a giveaway.
Yay!
It's time for our big final giveaway of the night. And like I said, this one, I'm going to ask you to guess a little question. MC is asking, what about some browns or blacks? I mean, that is a fair point. How about we add 1 black in each color? Do we have black in each color?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes,
We've got it for the 8/8 and
Yeah.
we've got it for the 8/4.
Yeah.
Yes. So 1 black of each color are also going in, because that way you can make sunflowers. Because then you have the yellow and the orange to make petals, and you can use the black to make the inside.
I like it.
Good idea. So this is the final basket of the night. This you can now win. And what I want you to do is to just guess. And so this is our last show in May. So we've been live in May quite a bit, I would say. Excluding today's episode, because we obviously didn't know how long the episode was going to be. We're going to ask you to guess how many total minutes we were live on Facebook this month. So in the month of May 2025, how many total minutes were we live on Facebook? And it's a lot of minutes. So this, Matt, we counted live shopping?
Yeah, just live shopping.
Just live shopping. Because we didn't do anything else, because we finished with
We had craft and chats, but
oh, okay.
but
So
we didn't count those.
excluding craft and chats,
Just live shopping.
just for live shopping, how many minutes do you reckon we were live in the month of May? excluding today's episode, because of course we didn't know how long today's episode was going to be, and I didn't want poor Matt to have to calculate right as we're finishing and we're getting here. So whoever guesses the closest and the fastest, so it combines how accurate you are and how speedy you reply.
And this is also not Googleable, which is
And this
great.
is not something you can Google.
Yeah.
You have to guess, or you have to be very, very fast at maths, I suppose.
Yeah.
So please put in your guess. How many minutes of live shopping have we streamed in total in the month of May, excluding today's episode? So today's episode is actually going to add about 140 minutes to it, but we don't count that.
No.
Because
Yeah.
we didn't know. And I, once again, way too optimistically said, oh, it's going to be a lot shorter than it actually was.
It's like 167 minutes, this one. Or no,
How much?
no, 137.
137
Yeah,
as of right now.
yeah.
Let's
as of
assume
right now.
let's assume it takes us a little bit to do
Yeah,
an outro.
yeah.
So,
But we don't count this, of course.
well, yeah, today doesn't
Yes,
count.
yeah.
So, but excluding today, how
Yeah.
many live shopping episodes have we streamed on Facebook?
Ooh.
And whoever guesses the closest is going to walk away with this amazing yarn basket that we have filmed throughout. Oh, Dagmar saying, oh, just this live shopping. Yes, we were only counting this live shopping. We were not counting the German ones. We may have to do that at a later time, though. So now the big question is, how many minutes of live shopping did we stream in the month of May? And the answer is 363, which I think is a really lovely round number. When Matt calculated it and when he sent it to me, I was like, oh, that's a good number. And I can actually see that some people were quite close. And so now it's going to come down to who got closest and then also how quickly was the answer put in. I can see there's someone with 360, so that is extremely close. And it's really cool because it shows you what like the most commonly guessed was, and most of you counted a little bit more. And we've got our winner, and it is Artemis 722 Moon Heart. Congratulations to our winner, Artemis 724 Moon Heart. Congratulations. You have won this excellent gift basket put together lovingly by us for you. In order to get your prize, Artemis numbers Moon Heart, please write us an email to live@hobby.com. So please write us an email to live@hobby.com. Congratulations! And please, Artemis, include your full name, address, phone number, everything we would need to send you your order, because of course we're going to need to send you this basket. So with that, do remember that you have 24 hours to shop using our code HAPPY40 for 40% off our selection, or if you're treating yourself to a bigger order, HAPPY50 starting at a total value of $150. Do bear in mind, if you have $150 worth of yarns from today's selection in your cart, it's going to be chopped in half, so you're going to pay $75. So there you have our selection. I hope you enjoyed today's yarns. I hope you're going to treat yourself to something nice. And I do hope that I'll see you again soon. I will be on holiday next week, so I'll be off, but I'll be back the week after for another live shopping. And next week, I believe Christina is going to be here to host this live stream. So give her a warm welcome. Have a lovely rest of your morning, evening, day, night, depending on where you're joining from, and see you very soon. Take care.